Saxon Math, Course 2, Lesson 50. We're dealing with unit conversions, unit multipliers and unit conversions. You guys are going to find this very, very easy, I believe, and we're going to work on a skill that comes with something that we've learned in the past. Okay, so if I give you the fraction 24 over 36, and we break that down where we actually break down what 24 is broken into. So we divide it by 2, we get 12. We divide that by 2, we get 6. We divide that by 2, we get 3. That means it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 on top. Okay? And then we do the same thing for 36. Divide it by 3, and we get 12. Divide it by 3, and we get 4. Divided by 2 and 2. All right, so we've got 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. And notice what we did with this. We went and we canceled off all the ones that kind of matched. Okay, and the only two that were left equaled our reduced fraction of 3 over 2. Okay, now that skill is the skill we're going to use in unit conversion. So the actual math of this is super easy. Okay, and let me give an example. I'm gonna go to example 1, and I'm gonna say, okay, 3 feet equals 1 yard. And example 1 is on page 354. Sorry about that. So we can write this in several ways. We can create a unit, okay, a unit multiplier, unit conversion, where we can say 3 feet over 1 yard, or we could do it the opposite, say 1 yard over 3 feet. It doesn't matter how we represent it, they're both correct, okay, because we're demonstrating by this line that they're not the same, but they are ratios of each other. Okay, so let's look at example 2, where it says turn 240 yards into feet. How do we do that? Well, let's set up, let's redo that. Okay, let's 240, and I want to go to and end up with feet. Okay, so what do I have to multiply? 240 is over 1. I have to make sure that my yards cancel off, and I'm left with feet at the end, right? Because I want feet. Well, if I have 1 yard, what's the unit multiplier that we just said? 3 feet to 1 yard. Okay, so if I have 240 yards, that means it's 240 times 3, which means I have 720 feet. But here's the unit multiplier work that I must show. Okay, math is really easy, but it's the setting up of this that is the challenge. That's the whole point of today's lesson. Okay, all right. So if I want to do 240 feet and I want to go to yards, notice I'm going to do a similar equation. 240 feet times, and I have to have feet on the bottom here and yards on top because I want to end up with this 3 feet to 1 yard. So I'm going to divide and say 240 divided by 3, and we can get the same thing. Okay, so we come up with 80 yards. Okay, I think you understand the concept there. Let's go to example number 4. Okay, on the next page, 355, it says Tim can sprint 9 yards per second. All right, 9 yards in 1 second. What I did was I created a unit by making this into a fraction. It says convert this rate to feet per second. So I want to get to feet per second. That's what I want to end up with. Okay, Well, how do I cancel off the yards? I have to put yards down here and I have to have feet up here because this is what I ultimately want and it has to look like this. Okay? Yards will cancel off top and bottom, but I can't cancel off feet and seconds because I have seconds and I have feet ready to go. Those are important spots for them to be because they'll end up being feet over seconds. So, how many yards are in a foot? You have 1 yard in 3 feet. So we're going to say 27 feet per second, which is the same as saying 9 yards per second. Okay? Both are equivalent, but this is the correct answer based on my correct view of unit conversions. Okay? So I think you'll understand that this is pretty easy math. However, the skill is setting this part up using the unit conversion, canceling off yards, and coming up with our new derived unit, which is feet per second. Or if we're given feet per second, we want to derive yards per second. Things like that. Okay? So if you have any questions, let me know and I will be more than happy to help.